What about the player ratings? Everybody is paying attention to this. We know that when they wake up tomorrow, this morning, and are having their whatever a posh breakfast is, that these billionaires want to know, how did they do in Owen Sheehan's player ratings?
It's true. You have the Irish Times there. It's got the faces of all the people involved in this, and we're going to rate 9 of them today to see how they actually did perform. There they are. So we're going to start with that man right, 2 from the right at the top row there, Andrea Agnelli. So we're going to give all these players a rating out of 10. Andrea Agnelli, we're going to start off with a big fat 0, because general rule of thumb in life, if you've used your daughter's christening to achieve career progression, you're probably not doing life right. He is the first person to stab someone in the back only to end up injuring himself in the process. Like, do you remember in Game of Thrones when Theon Greyjoy took over Winterfell, but then a short time afterwards ended up getting captured and tortured episode after episode after episode? That is what's after happening to Andrea Agnelli here. He tried to capture football and he ended up getting captured himself and tortured repeatedly all week. It's a big fat 0. He failed. Next up, Florentino Perez. Perez gets a 3. So why is Perez getting a higher score than Agnelli when they're both to blame for this? Well, Perez, I'm sure you'll agree, deserves 3 full points for his ability to take the piss out of Tottenham, even when his career is being irreparably damaged. So here he is on Spanish TV being asked to name the 6 Premier League teams in the Super League.
Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea y Tottenham. Oiga, no son...
Yeah, Florentino Perez has spent every waking moment this week trying to destroy football, and yet he's still had time to absolutely bury Tottenham Hotspur. So Florentino Perez gets 3. Not a bad outcome. Next up, Ed Woodward. Ed Woodward gets a 2. It is all swings and roundabouts being the face of Manchester United's boardroom. You know, if you're going to enjoy the glory of signing Morgan Schneiderlin for €30 million, then you've got to take the hit on weeks like this. He does get a couple of bonus points because Manchester United now have almost 2 million TikTok fans, and he's also now allowed to move out of Joel Glazer's basement. Next up is Daniel Levy, who gets an 8 out of 10. It is quite the score for Daniel Levy because, like an Olympic diver, he has managed to make barely a ripple on the news scene as he shoved Jose Mourinho overboard this week. When it came to the Super League, well, on the mantelpiece in the Levy household is a framed screenshot of a Zoom meeting involving Daniel and Florentino and Andrea and all the boys. It may have been the only Zoom meeting they ever had, but these are the things that Tottenham fans will sing about for years to come. Next up, you've got Stan Kroenke, who gets a 6. It's a little bit of a sympathy score here for Stan. Arsenal fans are like, where is Kroenke? We need to hear from Stan. But not a lot of people notice. Stan Kroenke is actually a monk. He took a vow of silence when he took over Arsenal and now spends his days wearing robes and hoping the world will soon find itself. He is a man to be respected, and he's probably praying for you all right now in silence. Stan Kroenke, well done. You get a 6 out of 10. Next up, it's one of the big scorers again. It's Alexander Ceferin. He gets a score of 9, the greatest hit rate against snakes since St. Patrick himself. Now, the difference between Ceferin and St. Patrick is that the snakes in Ireland in the 4th century weren't complete idiots, and Ceferin didn't need magic superpowers to banish the snakes from his land. Ceferin had something way stronger. He had a 36-team Champions League format, which is actually going to help increase the gap between the big clubs and the small clubs. A masterstroke of a week from Ceferin, 9 out of 10. Next up, with a score of 7, is Roman Abramovich. Pretty good score. He showed the world what good he has and what good he can do and what good there is in his heart by getting out of the ESL before everyone else. Yes, he may be an extremely rich man, but some extremely rich men happen to be good guys too. When he looked around the room and saw the people he was dealing with, he knew he had to pull out because Roman Abramovich only deals with good people. That is right. Roman Abramovich only keeps friends in high places that are very good and have hearts of gold. Roman Abramovich gets a 7 out of 10 for his work. It is also a 7 out of 10 this morning for Sheikh Mansour. Now, this is a good score based on pure relatability. Sheikh Mansour is one of us. He is human, and sometimes he makes mistakes. Sometimes he does things by accident. Sometimes he accidentally takes out a fork at a drawer instead of a spoon for his cereal. Sometimes he accidentally signs up to a €4 billion league funded by JP Morgan, capable of destroying the entire football pyramid. Sheikh Mansour, just one of the lads. His signature was just resting on the dotted line. And finally, Nasser AlKhelaifi, head of Paris Saint-Germain, gets a score of 10 out of 10. A masterful performance all week from the president of PSG. He basically played the role of knight in shining armour, rided into town to become the new president of the ECA just last night, actually. PSG, of course, do not care about being owned by a country with horrific human rights abuses, because why would you? But a football league with no relegation? God, well, Sometimes you just have to take a stand. And fair play to Paris Saint-Germain, fair play to AlKhelaifi. He is the highest scorer this week in the player ratings with a perfect 10 out of 10.